Greetings and Hotep. 6:14 a.m. Made it to another weekend, Friday, May 17th, 2024, Tampa, Florida. Now, I wanted to apologize ahead of time to anybody who is righteous that my YouTube videos might cause grief for me feeling very weird when I saw the chubby black guy in the white Tesla. I got off the bus and walked over. I came around because there was a gray truck with a woman riding shotgun. It appeared to be a man driving. They kept circling, so I didn't want to walk down the side streets as I would normally do. And as I stood there praying, God said, "Don't go down there." So I didn't. I was carrying things, both of my hands were occupied, and that put me at a great disadvantage to defend myself if something popped off. So I came around, and it took me over an hour to do so. So when I got there, the guy was putting the tree branches, limbs in the truck. I took note of the license plate. A lot of these tradesmen, they have these trailers, these trucks. They're not legit. The tags don't belong on the vehicle it's on. It's not registered. Ain't no insurance, none of that. So I want to say to you women, be careful of these tradesmen that you hire, the plumbers, the yard men, the contractors, the people that come to paint your house, people that come to spray for pests. A lot of these people, most of them, it seems like, from my experience, are on some kind of drug and have no problem with human trafficking and or setting people up to be taken into trade for organ harvesting, that kind of thing. They just seem to be low lives, but most Americans these days are low lives. I'm talking about attorneys, I'm talking about lawyers, I'm talking about doctors, I'm talking about pastors. Unfortunately, right now, temptation is coming to people. Money is kind of like can be freely made if you're willing to do some god awful things. And when the temptation comes, most people are flunking the test. And thank God for the Aquarian age because she is washing things down and exposing people for who they are. And it doesn't matter about your so-called position if your heart is dark. And I'm really enjoying being in this time. Really frustrated by how many people follow me. I need to go outside right now and see if that car is sitting up the block trying to get into the phone to get information so that they can steal from us. The phone is not hot, so they're probably not there yet. I think they've been having coven members, coven meetings every day because I'm seeing these cars. And when they leave, they don't even, try to split up and go left or right or whatever. I don't know if that's supposed to be an intimidation tactic for me or they're just that sloppy. They all pretty much go the same direction. And they don't take into consideration how many ring cameras, the governmental cameras in the lights in the streets. They probably don't even believe that exists. The lights at the railroad crossings. I mean, they don't take into consideration their strategy as they're doing their organized criminal activities. And I guess that's God's way of just, herding them to the federal penitentiary. Years ago, when I was teaching in Hillsborough County as a substitute teacher, they started talking about third grade. They, meaning, the government or the powers that be know whether or not a child is going to make it, whether they will end up in, jail or prison. And they were building prisons at an alarming rate. And we all were flabbergasted by this. And now, with the fraud and the legalizing of marijuana, that has changed how criminal people were able to make their money. So they just switched over to, oh, we'll human traffic people. Oh, we'll, put cameras places and sell subscriptions on the dark web and make money off of people while they go to the bathroom, take a shower, have sex in the privacy of their own home or in the home of the person who put the cameras up. You know, we'll set women up to sell their organs, or we'll set people up in our families to sell their organs, have the doctor lie to them, tell them they have cancer, and run the IV through them, clean out their organs, and then, have the nurse push a, don't say that, okay, and then allow them to be medically, say that, can I say that? Yes, be medically murdered, and then you don't know what happens to the body in the possession of the hospital. I had my placenta stolen from me. They put me in a wheelchair. I'm alleging that this happened May 26, 2004, the birth of my fraternal twins. My baby boy was pulled out of me first because, they did the spinal tap and then gutted me like a fish, pulled him out. Allegedly, he was footling breached, and that's why they had to do the C-section. He was 6 pounds, 7 ounces, 21 inches. His sister was still in the sack, probably could have used another week or so, a week or two. But, because they cut me open, they were going to leave her in there. They opened the sack, and she was born 4 pounds, 7 ounces, they said, and 19 inches. My mind went blank. I don't know. I'm still hurting surrounding this ordeal. I want to cry. I requested to take my placentas home to do a naming ceremony and bury them and plant a tree on top of them. I knew I had a rare blood type. I knew that my midwife, Carla, at Tampa General, before they dropped me at 8 months pregnant, told me I could sell my blood. And I was like, no, I'm not interested in any of that. I want 2 healthy babies. I want to be able to go home, me and my babies, the first year, just be together and allow me to nurture my babies and re-establish my health. And when I was supposed to go to Tampa General to sign the papers, some kind of release papers to be able to bring my placentas home, they sent me a letter saying that we're going to drop you, you're high risk, and we can't have you as a patient anymore. I'm 8 months pregnant. I don't have a doctor or a hospital to give birth in. So I said, okay, what am I going to do, God? God said, do not give birth in Hillsborough County. You pissed off too many people. You took your dumb ass on that Reality Speaks TV station pregnant, and I told you not to go down there pregnant, talking about, police brutality and government corruption. And your hard-headed ass did it anyway. Now, I didn't know what the fallout was going to be, but I felt like the county government and law enforcement were gunning for me, and they were going to try to kill me in childbirth. So that was why I made arrangements to leave. But when I tell you I couldn't get no extra cash to drive up out this mug, I had a gray Tacoma truck back then. It was a stick shift. And it was really rough. So I was standing on the corner selling papers on a Sunday. Why am I incorporating Angola's birth with the twins? That's weird. I couldn't get money to leave this place. I had, let me see, go back to the twin pregnancy. Okay. With the twins, I was trying to get to Dimona, Israel. Paul, who I thought might have been my baby daddy, but he told me he had a vasectomy and it definitely was not. He couldn't have gotten me pregnant. And I thought he was lying. Did he show me papers? I think he showed me papers. But, with the fraud that's going on now, people can show you papers and they're just fraud. I didn't believe him. When I came up pregnant, I had parted ways from Paul. He came to my house. He had cut his afro, his beard, and he did that to get a job. He needed a job, and he felt like people wouldn't hire him with that, and that traumatized my soul because I feel like if you believe in something, then you don't change who you are. If you believe in what you believe in, the universe is going to make way for you. And I didn't know then what I am about to say to you now. I saw that as a sign of treason, like you don't really believe your religious tenements. You are a fake believer, because if you believed it, you wouldn't have cut your hair and cut your beard. So I didn't want to be with him because I felt like he didn't believe. He was saying he was going into Christianity or something. That's what I interpreted. Now, years later, I had a conversation with him, and he was saying that wasn't what he was saying. That's what I interpreted. He was going back to Christianity from like Hebrew Israelite. And I was angry with my Christian family because they kept abandoning me. Here I am trying to be an activist, and the things that I'm saying are true, and I have no backing from my Christian family, and they just kind of like left me out to be abused by mostly law enforcement and governmental agencies. And I was frustrated by that, and I was venting my frustration on my Reality Speaks TV show at the Speak Up Tampa Bay cable community cable station, and on the community radio. I can't remember what the community radio, WMNF 88.5. I see you, Hannah L, in my mind. But Connie Burton hosted Straight Talk Mobili. Okay, well, Mobili is an impressionable person. He had a music show and more worldly political topics he discussed. And who else had a show that I recall? Did Mercedes and Shaka have a show? I can't remember if they had their own talk show, but a few times I appeared on Straight Talk, Connie Burton's talk show. Rob Lori was an influential person there at the radio station, and once they got everything renovated, basically, they started euthanizing the content within the station, so it became more commercialized. You know how they do anything mainstream, they take out.
You have a notification. You have a notification. Notification!
They take out the kind of like real people who might be telling the truth and exposing the government. And it became kind of watered down. And that was the same kind of things I was experiencing over at Speak Up Tampa Bay. Louise Thomas was over the Speak Up Tampa Bay place. And first they start bringing me in, trying to get me to turn my live show into pre-records. And when I wouldn't go for that, then they started sabotaging the call-in, where the calls weren't coming through. They were doing something with the phone lines. At that time, I was in Studio C, which was a one-person studio. And God would say, get up and go look at the teleprompter